Hello, Accelerated Math 7-8 students. We are still working in Module 11, and we are going to start Lesson 12. And Lesson 12 is called Slicing a Right Rectangular Pyramid with a Plane this time. Okay? Slicing a right rectangular pyramid with a plane. So in our last lesson, what we worked on is we worked on slicing a right rectangular prism. Remember, a prism looks like a stick of butter with a plane. Today, we're going to talk about slicing a right rectangular pyramid. And I'm hoping that all of you understand and know the difference of what a pyramid is versus a prism. Pyramids typically have one common vertex where all the sides meet. Okay? And so a pyramid is a shape that we have where there's only one base, and then the number of sides that are on that base are determined by the shape of the base, and they all the sides fold in together and they meet at one common vertex. The goal today we will see what happens when a plane slices a rectangular pyramid. The question that I want you to be thinking about is, how is a rectangular pyramid different from a right rectangular prism? Okay, that's what you need to think about, is the two different things. All right, some things to know. A rectangular pyramid is a 3D figure that has a base of a rectangle with four sides in the shape of triangles. And so what I've done for you right here is I have listed the parts that make up a rectangular pyramid. And so this one right here that I'm pointing to is what we know as the base. It's the one that the whole entire shape sits on. So this is what the shape looks like that your pyramid sits on. This little triangle right here would actually extend itself right here to this side that I'm pointing to. Okay, this triangle right here would sit on this edge that I'm pointing at. This side right here would sit on this side, and this side right here would sit on this side. And when you have all of those triangles that connect to the base, then they can be folded up together and they come together at a common vertex and you have a pyramid. Okay? A right rectangular pyramid is very special because it is a 3D figure that has a base of a rectangle, just like the other one, with four sides in the shape of triangles. But the height is very important because the height of the pyramid results from the vertex at the top of the perpendicular base. So what we're talking about with this is your height right here is determined by it being perpendicular to the base. And what that does is it creates a 90-degree triangle. Okay? And so it's very easy to figure out the height if it's missing, as long as you know what the length of your triangle side would be and where the position of the intersection occurred. And so the difference between a pyramid and a right rectangular pyramid, a regular rectangular pyramid, and a right rectangular pyramid is that this height is perpendicular. And some of you are thinking, well, Mrs. Nelson, how can you have a pyramid where it isn't perpendicular? I'll show you. And they're very weird because they're slanted and they look a little bit different than what we're used to seeing. And so we'll be playing with those a little bit so that you'll get to see them. But the most important thing that you need to be able to recognize and remember is that if it's a right rectangular pyramid, the vertex where it all meets is perpendicular to the base, creating that 90-degree angle. All right, and that's what you need to know for these. The coolest thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to see some pictures in our practice problems where we take a plane and it will slice through this, and you have to figure out what is the face of the slice. And some of you are going to be very, very amazed because slices that you never even thought would work in there actually work. So it's kind of fun to figure it out. So going back to our goal, today we will see what happens when a plane slices a rectangular pyramid. You can't really see it in the notes. It's all in what we're doing in class, so you'll have to pay very close attention. You can, however, answer this question: how is a rectangular pyramid different from a right rectangular prism? You could tell me the difference between those. All right, that's all that I have for you right now. I don't really have anything for you to work on. You can answer that question for me, but today's notes were more figuring out what types of shapes we're talking about and what they mean. And so that's all I have. All right, I'll talk to you later.